So please welcome Janet Parker, delegate for the CPSU CSA.
Well, why have a speaker on disability services and supports at March in March? We have the National Disability Insurance Scheme coming, right? So why should we be concerned about disability issues? Isn't this the biggest positive development since the advent of Medicare? Isn't the government responding, albeit belatedly, to years of campaigning by people with disabilities, their family members and carers? Well, at first sight, things might look set to improve for people with disabilities in coming years. But let's have a bit of a closer look at what's actually going down. Last year, former Disability Discrimination Commissioner Graham Innes described 2014 as an annus horribilis for people with disability. First, the Abbott government axed the position of Disability Discrimination Commissioner. Then the ABC's disability portal ramp up was cut. The onslaught against Medicare has threatened people with disability more than most, because those with high medical care needs need to see the doctor more often. Efforts to force people off the disability support pension and onto New Start continue without any corresponding efforts to create jobs and encourage jobs for people with disability. And under the cover of Christmas last year, funding to 10 peak representative bodies of people with disability was axed. Most recently, efforts to have 10,000 grossly underpaid workers with disabilities paid back earnings owed to them, legally owed to them, has seen the Abbott government introduce a bill that asks these workers to accept half of their back pay, to make an unacceptable choice, to accept half of their back pay or that they're legally owed, or spend years in costly and protracted court battles. And I don't know how many, actually that's not the very most recent news. I don't know who saw the news last night of a young girl with Down syndrome being refused a visa to Australia. Her parents' visa was supported, but hers was not, on the basis that she had disability. Well, is this the bold new era that seeks to improve the lot of people with disabilities? Is this the commitment to a new world of flexibility, choice and equality, of putting disability rights front and centre? Well, the other sure sign that something is awry is that the National Disability Insurance Scheme is premised on the privatisation of services and supports for people with disability. I work in the state sector where 60% of services in supported accommodation and early childhood intervention have or are in the process of being privatised. We're told this is about reducing bureaucracy. We're told it's about non-government services being so much closer to the community. There's a whole swathe of rhetoric out there around why this is a necessary step. But what is it really about? I think we know what it's really about. It's about providing services more cheaply. Community service workers are paid 30% less than government workers. And NDIS has set a benchmark dollar figure for provision of service that even community services are saying, we can't possibly do this. We cannot provide this service for the amount of money you're offering. So my message, I guess, in part is beware the marketisation of human services. You can't assure people with disability reliable, respectful and skilled support at cut price rates. We only have to look at the UK and Europe to see the lessons. The small services going under and the big profiteering companies stepping in. Do we really want these companies who run Australia's detention centres in charge of supporting people with disabilities? No. But I want to end on a positive note. We can beat this. It's been really heartening to see the trials, back-downs and losses of Liberal governments at both state and federal level of late. Whether it's the stalling of the deregulation of fees, the obstacles to the Medicare onslaught at the level of the feds, or the back down on the shark hull and the ending of night trains at the state, where we are fighting, we are winning. We have these governments on the skids. If there were an election today, they'd lose. Well, now Abbott's mentioned an early election, and I say bring it on. But would kicking the Liberals out be enough? Right now, we have no guarantee that the attacks they've made will be reversed. I'd argue that we need a new kind of politics, one that says enough to the politics of neoliberalism, one that asserts the politics of the 99%. Well, developments in other parts of the world are showing that we're living in a time where we can look at building a real alternative. We need to see ourselves as the front line of the anti-neoliberal offensive that is sweeping the globe. Witness the victory of the anti-austerity party Syriza in Greece in January of this year. This party, in its first early days in office, raised the minimum wage, reconnected electricity to 300,000 poor households, cut off for non-payment of bills, it re-employed sacked public servants and stopped a number of impending privatisations. We're seeing a similar initiative in Spain, in Podemos. And in Ireland, a call has gone out from leading trade unionists to left groups and parties for a new anti-austerity force. Well, those of us on the streets need to form the embryo of the sort of political force that can pose a real challenge to the no-choice political environment that we know. We need to band together unions and community organisations, Aboriginal communities facing closure, students fighting for free education, women fighting closure of shelters, people with disability fighting for equality and justice. Together we can be an unassailable force. Together we can win. Thank you.